Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive.
Mhm.
We love to unpack these big topics, and today is no different. We're tackling personal finance, a topic I know a lot of you out there have been requesting.
It's one of those things that can feel so big and overwhelming. Where do you even begin?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's so much information out there. So we dug into some awesome sources to break it all down for you
Mhm.
guys.
Yeah.
Simple, actionable steps.
It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. It's about crafting a life you love, and money plays a huge part in that.
Yeah.
So we've got these sources that cover everything from earning to spending, saving, and investing.
Kind of like those core 4 pillars.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so before we jump into all the amazing tips and strategies,
Mhm.
let's just take a step back. For anyone who's like, wait, what is personal finance anyway?
Yeah, so it's like your financial game plan,
Oh, I like that.
right? It's all about making choices,
Yeah.
big and small with your money, to create a life that you enjoy now, but also one that is secure and full of possibilities for the future.
Not just surviving paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
Exactly. So why should we care about this?
Well, imagine a life where you're constantly stressed about bills, you can't enjoy things because you're chained to debt, or you miss out on opportunities because you're limited financially. Personal finance gives you the power to break free from those constraints.
That's powerful. I mean, our sources really hit home on how money impacts literally every aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
Where you live, travel plans, even your hobbies, it all kind of connects back to finances in some way.
Right, totally.
And one of the first steps we often hear about is budgeting. And
Totally.
I know a lot of people cringe at that word, but one of our sources actually reframes it as a tool for freedom, not
Right.
restriction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's a super simple method that they highlight called the 50-30-20 rule. Have you heard of this?
I have, but
Yeah.
maybe break it down for our listeners.
Of course. So basically, you allocate your income strategically. 50% goes towards your needs, things like rent, groceries, utilities, the stuff you can't live without. Then 30% for your wants. This is eating out, entertainment hobbies, the
Yeah.
fun stuff. And then 20% goes to savings and paying down any debt you have.
So simple,
Right.
but so effective. And I love that our source challenges us to track spending for just 1 month.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
It's amazing what you discover.
It's eye-opening.
Yes, totally. And I know some people might be listening thinking, but I can barely cover my bills. How can I possibly save?
Right.
But our sources emphasize that even small amounts saved consistently can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. And they suggest this two-part approach. First, build an emergency fund. Aim for 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It gives you peace of mind if you have unexpected expenses.
Yeah.
And then you can focus on saving for specific goals.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a vacation, a down payment on a house retirement, things that gets you excited about saving.
And one stat that really stuck with me from the research was that saving just $25 a week adds up to $1,300 a year.
Wow.
So it shows that those small, consistent efforts, they really pay off. Now let's talk investing. This
Yeah.
is where we can really make our money work for us. But I'll admit, investing can feel intimidating.
It can. It sounds complicated.
Like something only Wall Street gurus understand. But one of our sources assures us you don't need to be a financial expert to get started.
Absolutely. There are simple, low-risk options out there, like index funds and mutual funds. These are perfect for beginners.
So break those down for us. What makes them good for beginners?
They offer diversification, which means your money is spread across a variety of stocks and bonds. So it reduces your risk.
Oh,
Think of it like this. Instead of putting all your eggs in one basket, you're spreading them across many. So even if one basket falls, you won't lose everything.
I love that analogy. That makes total sense.
Right.
So we're spreading the risk, making our money work smarter. And then there's compound interest. I hear that's a game changer.
Oh, it's huge. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It
Huh.
starts small, but as it picks up more snow, it grows larger and larger. With compound interest, your money earns interest, and then that interest earns interest. It creates this powerful snowball effect.
I'm getting excited just thinking about it. And the earlier we start investing, even with small amounts, the bigger that snowball can become.
Right.
Exactly. It's all about getting time on your side.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now let's address the elephant in the room, debt.
Mm-hmm.
It's something so many people try to avoid talking about, but our sources point out that most of us will encounter it at some point.
Right.
Whether it's student loans, credit card debt, or even a mortgage, they normalize it.
Mm.
They emphasize that the key is managing it responsibly so it doesn't become a burden.
Right. And they highlight 2 main methods for tackling debt: the debt snowball and the debt avalanche.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break those down for us.
So the debt snowball method focuses on paying off your smallest debts first, regardless of interest rate. It can be super motivating because you see those quick wins early on and it keeps you going.
Okay, so it's about that momentum.
Exactly. And then the debt avalanche targets the debt with the highest interest rate first. This approach can save you more money in the long run because you're minimizing the interest you're paying.
Gotcha. So one's about the motivation and one's about being more strategic.
Right. And there's no right or wrong method.
The best method is the one that keeps you consistent and motivated.
What works for you?
Exactly.
So we've touched on those 4 core areas: earning, spending, saving, and managing debt. We've laid a solid foundation, but now it's time to put those concepts into action.
I love it.
And I'm excited to dive into those actionable strategies that our sources highlight in the next part of our deep dive.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll be right back after a quick break. All right, so we've got those building blocks of personal finance. But now, let's get into the actionable stuff. What really stood out to me in the research was how much emphasis was put on mindset.
Oh, yeah. It's not just about the mechanics. It's about your relationship with money.
Exactly.
And our sources suggest identifying your money values.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. Like what's truly important to you when it comes to your finances?
Yeah.
Is it security, freedom?
Generosity.
Makes sense. Yeah. Understanding those core values helps guide your decisions and keep you aligned with your goals.
Kind of like having a financial compass.
Right.
Okay, so we've got our values, but how do we make those goals, tangible?
One source suggests using the SMART goals framework.
Okay, I've heard of that. What is that again?
It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Okay.
So instead of saying like, I want to save more, a SMART goal would be, I want to save $5,000 for a down payment on a house within the next 2 years.
I see.
It's specific, you can track it, it's achievable, and it's relevant to your goals.
Makes it less overwhelming too, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So we've got our goals, but let's be real. Sticking to a budget managing expenses, it can be tough. What are some practical tips?
Well, tracking your spending is huge.
Yeah.
You can't manage what you don't measure.
True.
And luckily, there are so many tools out there these days. Budgeting apps, spreadsheets. Find a method that works for you and stick with it.
And once you see where your money's actually going, then you can start figuring out where you can cut back.
Absolutely. And one of our sources reminds us it's not always about deprivation.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just about making small, mindful adjustments.
Right? Like bringing your lunch to work a few times a week instead of eating out every day.
Exactly. Those little changes can add up.
Totally. Now, one strategy that I thought was brilliant that our sources talk about is automating your finances.
Oh, game changer.
Tell me more about that.
So think about setting up automatic transfers for your savings and bill payments.
Okay.
It takes the mental effort out of it.
You're just like setting it and forgetting it.
Yeah, but in a good way. You're consistently working towards your goals without even having to think about it.
Love it. Okay, so another interesting topic that came up was negotiation.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that can feel kind of intimidating to some people.
I know, but it's a valuable skill, especially when it comes to bills and interest rates. You might be surprised at how often companies are willing to negotiate, especially if you're a loyal customer.
So it's worth picking up the phone and having that conversation.
Totally. The worst they can say is no.
That's true.
Okay.
Let's shift gears a bit and talk more about investing. We touched on it earlier, but I want to dive a little deeper. You mentioned index funds and mutual funds, but what other types of investments are out there?
So our sources break down different asset classes like stocks, bonds, and real estate. Diversifying your investments across those is key to managing risk and maximizing your potential returns.
So don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Spread them out.
Now, how do you choose the right investments for you? That feels overwhelming.
It can be. That's why it's so important to understand your risk tolerance. How comfortable are you with potential gains and losses?
Gotcha. So if you're more risk averse, you might go for more conservative investment.
Right. And if you're comfortable with higher risk, you might opt for more aggressive investments.
It's about finding what aligns with your comfort level and your goals.
Exactly. And remember, investing is a long-term game.
Not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Absolutely. Our sources caution against trying to time the market or chase those hot stock tips. It's about steady, consistent growth over time.
Okay. Slow and steady wins the race.
Right. Now, while growing our money is important, protecting it is crucial too.
Makes sense. We've worked hard for it.
Exactly. And our sources dedicate a good portion to safeguarding your finances.
Okay. So what are some key strategies for protecting what we've earned?
Well, first of all, insurance.
Okay. What types of insurance are essential?
The specific types you need will depend on your situation.
Of course.
But some common ones are health insurance, car insurance, homeowners, or renter's insurance.
Right. These protect us from those unexpected events,
Exactly.
illness accidents, damage to our property.
And one that's often overlooked is disability insurance.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
This can replace a portion of your income if you can't work due to illness or injury.
Definitely part of a solid financial safety net.
Absolutely. Now, another crucial aspect is being aware of fraud and identity theft.
Huge these days.
Right. So much of our information is online.
Yeah. What are some steps people can take to protect themselves?
Our sources recommend monitoring your credit reports regularly, being cautious about sharing personal info online, using strong passwords, and shredding sensitive documents.
And watch out for those phishing scams.
Oh, yeah. Those emails or messages that try to trick you into giving away your info.
Be very wary of those. If something feels off, it probably is.
Right. And if you think you've been a victim of fraud,
Right.
report it immediately.
Okay, good advice. So we've talked about insurance and fraud prevention. What else?
Having a will or trust in place is important,
Okay.
especially if you have assets or dependents. This ensures your wishes are carried out and your loved ones are taken care of.
Planning for the unexpected.
Exactly. And finally, it's important to review and update your financial plan as things change in your life.
Makes sense. Our needs and goals evolve.
Right. So it's an ongoing process,
Yeah.
not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Right. It's about checking in and making adjustments as you go. Okay. So we've covered a lot. Strategies for managing and protecting your finances. But the journey doesn't end here. Our sources provide tons of additional resources and tools to support you along the way.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to hear about those. Let's dive in. All right, so many amazing strategies to actually put this all into practice, but our sources also highlight a ton of resources to help you on your journey. Let's dive into those.
Okay, so a starting point they all mention are financial literacy websites and blogs. There's so much info available online covering everything from basic budgeting to like advanced investing.
Yeah, and a lot of it's free, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But with so much information out there, how do you know what to trust?
That's key, right?
Yeah.
Our sources say stick to reputable websites, ones from government agencies, nonprofit organizations, established financial institutions. They usually offer unbiased and reliable info.
Gotcha. So be discerning.
Yeah, exactly. And for those who want a deeper dive on specific topics, our sources suggest checking out personal finance books.
Love that. Like having a financial coach right in your hands.
Exactly. And then there are online courses and workshops too, for those who learn best through interactive experiences.
Oh, yeah. That's a great way to learn at your own pace.
Exactly. And a lot of reputable organizations offer them, covering topics like budgeting, investing, retirement planning.
Awesome. So many options. And sometimes having a real-life expert can be invaluable.
Totally. Our sources definitely emphasize seeking guidance from financial professionals, like financial advisors.
Okay.
They can provide personalized advice based on your specific circumstances and goals.
So it's like having a personal trainer for your finances.
Exactly. But finding a qualified, trustworthy advisor who really has your best interests at heart, that's key.
Absolutely. It's about finding a partner who aligns with your values and your goals.
Right. And if you're not ready to work with a professional yet, don't underestimate your personal network.
Oh, that's a good point.
Friends, family members, colleagues who are knowledgeable about personal finance, they can be great sources of information and support.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes hearing from people we know and trust who have been there can be so helpful.
Absolutely. And finally, our sources stress that financial education is an ongoing journey.
Yeah, it never really ends.
Right. Exactly. It's not about reaching a destination. It's about continuously learning and adapting as life changes.
So stay curious, stay engaged, stay committed to learning.
Yes. And there are so many ways to do that. Reading financial news articles and blogs, attending webinars, conferences, joining online communities. Find what you enjoy and make it part of your routine.
It's like anything else, right? Find the joy in it. Well, we've covered so much in this deep dive. It's been incredible.
It really has. From the basics to actionable strategies, valuable resources, the importance of mindset, I think we hit it all.
And I hope our listeners feel empowered to take control of their financial well-being.
I hope so too.
The key takeaway for me is that personal finance doesn't have to be complicated or scary.
No, not at all.
It's about making informed decisions, building healthy habits, and creating a future where money works for you, not against you.
And remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Those small, consistent steps over time, they lead to big results.
Absolutely. So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought. Now that you have all this knowledge and these resources, what's one area of personal finance that you're most excited to tackle first, and why? Let that question be your guide
That's a great question.
as you embark on this journey toward financial freedom. And remember, you're not alone. There's a whole community out there ready to support you every step of the way. We're so glad you joined us for this deep dive into the world of personal finance. Can't wait to see what you achieve.
Thanks for listening, everyone.